Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Let's continue with the presentation. There. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Because it kind of looks weird to me, but maybe it's just me. Okay. Okay, somebody else, please. You can help me read.
Me. General principles and characteristics of TBL. It's based on the use of tasks. Students learn by interacting. It is focused on the use of authentic language. Errors are part of a natural learning, and the focus is on process rather than the product.
So this is like a wrap up of what we have been saying, right? About the TBL. Thank you, Sereli. Choose somebody else, please.
Let me check who's here. Aaron?
Approach. Theory of language. Task-based learning is mainly motivated by the theory of learning. However, there are several assumptions about the nature of language. Language is primarily a means of making meaning. Multiple models of language inform teaching-based learning. Lexical units are essential in language use and learning. Conversation is the central focus of language and the keystone of language acquisition.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Yes, as we know, task-based learning is mainly motivated by a theory of learning, which is the communicative approach. But also, it different models help put up this approach or this model. And the main assumption is that language is primarily a means of making meaning. The person has to be able to convey what he or she wants to say through communicating. And as we said before, the lexical units are central in language use and learning. Not words isolated, no, in lexical chunk, in phrases. And conversation is the central focus of language and the keystone of language acquisition. Yes, because it's a productive skill, but also before being able to speak, we know that students have to be able to do some other things, like reading, for instance. So that's why this approach is linked with promoting speaking, but also we can use it to promote the other three skills. Thank you, Aaron. Choose somebody else, please.
René. René. ¿Me escucha?
Yes, but Rene maybe doesn't hear you.
She's not here.
Oh, choose somebody else, Aaron.
Gaby.
Okay. Lexical units are central in language use and language learning. Vocabulary has been considered to play a more central role in second language learning, and here includes lexical phrases, sentence stems, prefabricated routines, and collocations.
Thank you, Gabby. As we said earlier, before being able to speak, well, learners have to be able to learn the lexics that they are going to use. And here we use the lexical phrase or the lexical chunks. Sentence stems, where the teacher provides the beginning of a sentence and students have to be able to end that sentence in order to promote confidence. Also, we can teach them prefabricated routines, and in that way the students can be able to modify them according to the real life. And a very important aspect of English is to learn collocations. The collocations that are present in every language, and English is not the exception. Okay, thank you, Gabby. Choose somebody else, please.
Josué.
Tips of learning and teaching activities. Listening. Processes, brainstorming, fact finding. Ordering and sorting, processes, sequences, ranking, categorizing, and classifying. Comparing, processes, matching, finding similarities, and finding differences. Problem solving, processes, analyzing real and hypothetical situation, reasoning, and decision making. Sharing personal experiences, processes, narrating, describing, exploring, and explaining attitudes, opinions, reactions. Creative tasks, processes, brainstorming, fact-finding, ordering, and sorting. Comparing, problem solving, and many others.
Thank you, Josué.
Welcome.
Now, as you can see, there are different types of learning and teaching activities that are related to the task-based learning. This is just a sample of them. There are many more. And as you can see, there are many ways in how we can put into action this approach in our classes, from very simple to more complex. But yes, we can put them into practice to promote real interaction with our students. Josué, choose somebody else, please.
Adilene.
Theory of learning. TBL shares assumptions about the nature of language learning, underlying communicative language teaching, but some additional principles played a central role. Tasks provide both the input and the output processing necessary for language acquisition. Task activity and achievements are motivational. Learning difficulty can be negotiated and fine-tuned.
Tim?
For particular pedagogical purpose.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you. Yes, well, in task-based learning, the task itself or the task at hand provide both the input, because you have to focus in one aspect of lexis or vocabulary, but also at the same time by providing samples or exponents of the language that you're focusing in, you're providing the output. And then the students can be able to modify it and process it. In that way, well, you're providing the necessary material for language acquisition. And if we as teachers design carefully the tasks and provide the necessary scaffolding to our students, and well, and provide also and adapt the task to their context and provide a good learning environment, well, students are going to be motivated to participate and collaborate. Also, this learning difficulty also has to do with the task preparation. Because if we design carefully our task and we provide the scaffolding necessary, well, we'll be able to negotiate and tune the task for the needs or the pedagogical purposes of the tasks. In that way, well, the teacher has a lot of work to do because he has to be able to design carefully the task in order to students to be able to perform them in a natural and sequenced way. Thank you, Dileni. Choose somebody else, please. Choose somebody else. Yes, please, continue.
Are considered to be the pivot point for stimulation of input-output practice, negotiation of meaning, and transactionally focused conversation.
Thank you, Efrain. And here resides the importance of tasks as a promoter of promoters of language acquisition. In the degree of which a task stimulate input and output practice, which is the conversation, in which in those conversations or those interactions, students are able to negotiate meaning, which is very important because that happens in real life. When you acquire your first language, you negotiate meaning. You see in babies how they negotiate meaning. For instance, I have a nephew who is 2 years old. No, 3 years old. No, wait, he's 2 years old. And for instance, this is something that was really funny. He wanted to grab a toy, a peluche, and the peluche was a donkey, a burrito. But he doesn't articulate well. He's little. And he was saying, burro, 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 I want the burro. And when nobody was able to understand him, he he began to say, oh, oh, oh. And that's when we understand that he wanted the burrito. In that way, not in that form, but we are able to negotiate meaning in everyday conversations. And also to be able to participate in transactional interactions, because that's the function of the language. Being able to do something with it, be able to buy something, to sell something, to ask for a service, to provide a service. And that's the core of the transaction or the speaking process. Being able to communicate adequately in a conversation and being able to convey what we want to say to other people or other person. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
in the information provided by a video about Rodelis, he mentioned that an important characteristic of a task is the linguistic gaps, and the non-linguistic gaps are important in order to communicate something. As you say, for example, we communicate also with our gestures or our body
Language.
language, etc. So that it's important if we are communicating something.
Yes. Yes, and that's also a way to convey the meaning, as you say. Yes, not only in speaking form, but also with gestures and our body language. Yes, that's really important. Thank you, Gabby. That's really important also to mention it. Thank you. Efrain, choose somebody else, please.
Yes, Ignacio.
Okay, thank you. Task, activity, and achievement are motivational. Tasks are also said to improve learning motivation and therefore promote learning because they require the learner to use authentic language, have a well-defined dimension and closure, are varied informal and operation, include physical activity, involve partnership and collaboration, might call on the learner's past experience, tolerate and encourage a variety of communication styles.
Thank you, Ignacio.
You're welcome.
So, thank you. So, why do you think this aspect is important?
I think, sorry, the aspect, oh, these aspects are important because the student feels confidence. These aspects make the students feels confidence and they can participate without fear, without fear that the other classmates can get fun about our day. And for example, the physical activity motivate them because they are doing physical movements and they are not only sit down, so they can catch the information, the how to say, the topic, what the teacher are imparting, and they can understand in a better way.
Yes, thank you, Ignacio. Yes, first of all, motivation is very important, especially in English classes. We have seen and we have had our shares of students who are reluctant to cooperate or participate. And that hinders the course of the class. In order that we are able to motivate our students and make them participate because they want to, not because they have to, we're going to have more success in our classes. Also, well, the task here, the task-based learning, help us because they use authentic language to do something with the language. And if we design properly the task, well, it is going to be in only a certain topic, in using a certain vocabulary. And also, we know that beginners and also small children need to have like a pattern or a routine. But as students advance, with students who are at intermediate or advanced levels, or the students who are, for instance, teenagers and adults, well, you have to provide variety for them in your classes and in your tasks. And here is how the task-based learning can come handy. Also, a good thing about this is that they can stand up, they can do something, they can draw, they can color, They can design in cardboard. They're doing something. They're moving. They're collaborating. That is the physical activity. They work in teams, and also they can relate to what they already know or their past experiences. And also, we have to remember that, well, here in Sinaloa, well, it's the same culture. But think about an English teacher that works for say in the U.S. in California. Well, when he or she is teaching people from different backgrounds, from different countries, from different cultures, and that's why you have to be able to tolerate and encourage a variety of communication styles. We don't have the problem here because we have the same culture, but some English teachers that go abroad to teach you or to other countries, well, they're going to encounter different cultures and different communication styles. And well, he or she has to be able to tolerate them and also to encourage them to enrich the class and to enrich experiences of the rest of the students. Okay, Ignacio, choose somebody else, please.
Georgina.
Learning difficulty can be negotiated and fine-tuned for particular pedagogical purpose. Specific tasks can be designed to facilitate the use and learning of particular aspect of language. Long and Crookes, 1991, state that tasks provide a vehicle for the presentation of appropriate target language sample and for the delivery of comprehension and production opportunity of negotiable difficulty.
Thank you, Georgina. And here comes a very good aspect of this task-based language teaching. For instance, if you see that students are having problem with a certain aspect, could be vocabulary, could be being able to gain confidence to participate, well, you can design a certain task to cater that need or to be able to work on that need. And this is why this approach is really handy and useful. Thank you, Georgina. To somebody else, please.
Liliana,
Chican, 1998, suggests that in selecting or designing tasks, there is a trade-off between cognitive processing and focus on form. If the task is too difficult, fluency may develop at the expense of accuracy. Tasks can be used to channel learners toward particular aspect of language.
Thank you. Yes, sometimes depending on the task and depending what you want to develop, we have to be very careful, because if the task is too difficult, well, the accuracy may suffer. And you have to be, as teacher, very, 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 very careful here and be ready to take notes. Because if we don't attend this aspect, then students may develop fossilized errors, and we don't want that. So we have to be always monitoring their work in order to pick up those problems or those needs or those aspects that we have to work with our students. And we were saying, well, tasks can be used to channel or to direct learners toward particular aspects of the language that we want to work on. Thank you. To somebody else, please.
Gabby. Design. Objectives. Goals in task-based learning are ideally to be determined by the specific needs of particular learners. The selection of tasks according to long and crooks should be based on a careful analysis of the real-world needs of the learners.
Thank you, Gabby. That's why we have to know our students. We have to know what do they need and where are their areas of improvement in order to design our objectives and our goals appropriately or accordingly. Thank you, Gabby. Choose somebody else, please.
Miriam.
The syllabus. TBL is more concerned with the process dimensions of learning than with the specific contents and skills that might be acquired through the use of these processes. A TBL syllabus specifies tasks. Noonan suggests a syllabus with two types of tasks. Real-world tasks, designed to practice or rehearse those tasks that are found to be important and useful in the real world. Example, booking a flight. Pedagogical tasks, they have a psycholinguistic basis in SLA theory and research, but do not necessarily reflect real-world tasks. Example, information gap task.
Thank you, Miriam. So we said the syllabus of task-based learning is not based on lexics or grammar. It's based on the process of language acquisition or language learning. And David Noonan here is suggesting a syllabus with two different types of tasks. One is real-world tasks, that you can find, for instance, with advanced teaching materials, where students have to be able to do something with the language. And also pedagogical tasks, well, they have a basis from second language acquisition theory. Have you taken this subject, second language acquisition? I don't remember. I believe you have.
Yes.
Yes, right? Well, they have the basis in second language acquisition theory, but sometimes not necessarily have to do real world tasks. For example, they use information gap tasks or missing information or exchange information tasks in which you're working on a specific need of the students. And we're going to go through that in a moment. Choose somebody else, please.
Is Jose Luis here?
He is, but maybe he is not able to say something. Choose somebody else.
Marisa.
Information gap tasks. One student or group of students has one set of information and another student or group has complementary set of information. For example, learner has a big biography of famous persons with all the places names missing, while his learner B has the same text with all the dates missing. Together, they can complete the text by asking each other questions. Problem-solving task, decision-making task. Students are given problems with there
are, yes.
There are a number of possible outcomes and they must choose one throughout.
Yes,
negotiation and discussion.
Sorry.
Opinion exchange tasks. Learners engage in discussion and exchange of ideas. They do not need to reach agreement.
Thank you, Marisa. As you can see, you have been using task-based learning, but you don't know, you didn't know about that. So as you can see, you're familiar with this approach. And these are some examples of pedagogical tasks. Thank you, Marisa. Choose somebody else, please.
Me, Marisa.
Lluvia.
Okay, thank you. Other characteristics of tasks. Number one way or two way, whether the task involves a one-way exchange of information or a two-way exchange. Number two, convergent or divergent, whether the students achieve a common goal or several different goals. Number three, collaborative or competitive. Number four, single or multiple outcomes. Number five, concrete or abstract language. Number six, simple or complex processing, whether the task requires simple or complex cognitive processing. Number seven, simple or complex language. And number eight, reality-based or not really based, whether the task mirrors a real-world activity or is a pedagogical activity not found in the real world.
Thank you, Lluvia. As you can see, there are many ways that you can design your tasks. There are many different ways that you can work with the task according to the needs and according to what you want to accomplish with your students. Lluvia, choose somebody else, please.
Georgina.
The role of instructional materials. Materials can be exploded from instruction and TBLT are limited only by the imagination of the task designer. Really, the use of authentic tasks supported by authentic materials wherever possible. The following are some of the task types that can be built around such media products. Newspapers, example, students prepare a job wanting an ad using example from the classified section. Television, after watching an episode of an unknown soap opera, a student lists characters and their possible relationships to other characters in the episode. Internet. Students initiate a chat in a chat room, indicating a current interest in their life and developing an answer to the first three people to respond.
Thank you, Georgina. Choose somebody else, please.
Sareli.
Now here we're going to go through the procedure of task-based learning. You said Azarelli, right?
Yes.
Choose somebody else, please.
Rene.
Pre-task, introduction to topic and task. Teachers explores topic with the class, help students to understand instructions and prepare. Task cycle, task, students do the task in pairs or small groups while teacher monitors. Planning, students prepare to report to the whole class, oral or written, how they did the task and or what they decided or discovered. Report, some groups present the reports to the class or exchange written reports and compare results. Language focus, analysis, students examine and discuss specific features. Practice, teachers conducts practice of new words. phrases, and patterns that occur in the data or data.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. So here is the procedure of task-based learning. Okay, I'm going to cut short the session. And I'll see you in a bit. See you in a moment.